Okay, I'm gonna continue. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. On behalf of the Ethiopian Space Science Citizen Society Citizen Science Project, I'd like to thank each of you for joining us today. As many of you know, our Citizen Science Project aims to provide opportunities for students and enthusiasts to actively participate in real scientific research. As we continue to grow these opportunities, it's important for us to learn from individuals and organizations that have made a significant impact in advancing citizen science across Africa. Therefore, it is a great pleasure to welcome our guest today, Miracle Marcel, founder and director of Pan-African Citizen Science eLab. Miracle is a space and astronomy educator from Nigeria. He is the founder and director of Pan-African Citizen Science eLab, a nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing STEM education, citizen science, and entry-level research participation across Africa. Through Pan-African Citizen Science eLab, he has built one of Africa's largest citizen science networks, engaging thousands of learners, educators, and STEM enthusiasts in scientific research and outreach activities. Miracle, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
We are excited to hear about your work and the impact Pan-African Citizen Science eLab is making across Africa. The floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So greetings, everyone. My name is Miracle Marcel, and I'm the founder and the director of the Pan-African Citizen Science Laboratory. So PACS Lab is a nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing STEM education, promoting citizen science, and entry-level research participation through hands-on activities in astronomy and space science across Africa. PACS Lab was founded in the year 2020, and our slogan is bringing the stars to your doorsteps. So what that means is that wherever you are in Africa, whether you are in the most remote village in Africa, can always. So, and the aim, when it comes to the aim and objective of organization PACS Lab aims to improve access to inclusive and high-quality STEM education across Africa through hands-on learning in astronomy and space science. And objectives include to expand inclusive participation in STEM, particularly among underrepresented groups across Africa, to develop learners' digital, analytical, problem-solving skills using astronomical data, to build a strong Africa-wide network of amateur scientists or citizen scientists, contributing to global STEM efforts, to foster sustainable local and international partnership that advance space education across Africa. So the target audience includes everybody, all learners across Africa, the Middle East, and Ukraine. The reason for those regions is because those, for instance, the Middle East, they face a lot of wars, a lot of turmoil. So, it affects their education. So we are compassionate enough to recruit them in a group so that they can continue their education. So we do the same thing with students from Ukraine, but mostly we focus on Africa. Okay, so we focus on students, whether you are secondary school or university, or educators, teachers, early career researchers, STEM enthusiasts. These are the kind of people we are targeting, and you can find them in secondary schools, universities, research institutes, space agencies, observatories, STEM clubs, nonprofit organizations who lack access to practical STEM education and research opportunities. We are working with hundreds of these groups across Africa and beyond. So for the requirement, all of our projects are open and accessible to all individuals, regardless of your age, your nationality, your religion, your nationality, your academic background, your professional affiliations, and experience level. So the only thing that is required to participate in our projects, or you need basic computer operation skills like how to operate Windows OS operating system, and you need internet access, and then you need interest and passion for on STEM learning. These are the three things that we need from you. So no matter how young you are, whether you are still in primary school and you have all of these qualities, all of these skills, then you are qualified. Then our projects are divided into three. We have citizen science, we have research projects, we call it entry research projects. Then we have other activities that we tag applied science and engagement. So under citizen science, we analyze data, astronomical data, with astrometrical software to discover new asteroids. I think Ethiopia has discovered one asteroid. Ethiopia Space Science Society, I think they've discovered one asteroid. So that's how the program works. The organization in charge of this, the International Astronomical Research Collaboration. We are the biggest collaborator in Africa. So that's the software there, and that's data that is being analyzed. So here is one of the teachers in Cote d'Ivoire that is using this project as a medium of instruction in his classroom. So it is very, very important. Then we have another citizen science project called exophotometry. Here, we observe known exoplanets and perform photometric analysis using exotic program to refine the orbital parameters. So we collaborate with NASA. This is a NASA project. And we also collaborate with the Las Camas Observatory and the Micro Observatory and use the robotic telescope. We have what we call robotic telescopes. I'm going to talk about that later. Then we have another project, a citizen science called Study Sky Mapper. So here, here's the map of Africa. This map of Africa showing the different countries. Although this is not perfectly accurate, still developing the project. So we want to position telescope across almost all the countries in Africa. I mean, 20 countries. There are 54 countries in Africa, but we want to position 20 telescopes across 20 countries so that we can keep an eye on the night sky every single day. Because, Africa has some of the best skies, unpolluted skies in the world. So we want to tap into that. So we are collaborating with SETI Sky Mapper. I think we have someone from Ethiopia whom we are working with. He's in charge of Hammercraft. There's a group called Hammercraft. We selected him. We're going to give him a telescope, a very sophisticated telescope for this project. So, but the telescope can also be used for research. You can use it for research, you can use it for outreach, and so on and so forth. So here is a project, Double Star Research. Here we introduced the student to Double Star to research, entry-level research, because in Africa and most developing countries, ability to do quality research is a problem. A lot of students, they don't know how to do proper research. I mean, analyze data properly and write papers and publish them and even present them at conferences. Those things are lagging in Africa. So this project is meant to settle that. We want to solve that problem using this project. So we are using double stars for it. We're collaborating with the Institute of Student Astronomical Research. And then we are using Las Camas Observatory for observation. So here is one of the, should I call it the most enthusiastic project for amateur astronomers. So here is you develop skills, astrophotography, you develop skills. Okay, by the way, this is citizen science. This is the end of my citizen science presentation. This is entry-level research, okay? And I'm now in applied science and engagement. So this is not a research, it is not a citizen science. So we classify them under applied science and engagement. So take note of that. So here we train amateur astronomers on how to process space images to produce these beautiful visuals. You probably see these pictures on the internet, and you probably wonder how it comes about. So it is not as using your phone and taking pictures. It is different from that. The process is very technical. So when you take pictures with telescopes, they appear like this in this gray form, black and white. Okay, so you come to your computer. I mean, if you train you add these colors. Then you combine them to produce these beautiful visuals. Then these are some of the examples. So it's a very technical process, and I want all of you to know it. I want all of you to know how to use telescope, schedule observations on clusters, on galaxies, on nebulae. You download the data, you process it. I like all of you to learn it. So keep an eye on this. Okay? So then we have amateur radio on International Space Station. So these projects connect students to astronauts on the International Space Station. And I know that the Ethiopia Space Science Society have hosted it. We supported their application. So they hosted it last year. So it connect to space astronaut. So we hosted it. I mean, PACS Club hosted it on April 2025. So let me just play this bits of video here. So that's it. I hope you heard the sound. That is how it works. That question was asked by a student from Cameroon because we connected students and amateur astronomers across Africa for this. Okay, so and since then we have been reaching out to space agencies across Africa to be to apply for it and host it. And thankfully, Ethiopia responded positively. They applied, and also it was successful. Okay, so here is another project that we promote. We call it Telescope Donation Projects. Here, we support local groups working with us to acquire handheld telescopes for outreach and teachers training. So here we have distributed several telescopes across Africa. I mean, these kind of telescopes. Okay, you know, we are, we are influential, so we use our influence to get this telescope. Okay, so that is how we do it. Then we deliver lectures on astronomy and space science on social media twice every month. Collaborate with Free Astro Science. Although this is what we do, these two projects is what we do for the people, for the African public from our office. Okay, but these other ones, the rest are the ones we can participate directly in. So for observational astronomy that we do, we use what we call robotic telescope. Robotic telescope are telescopes that you can access through the internet. They are robots, okay? I mean, these are real telescopes, but they are very advanced. So they are positioned at some of the best astronomical sites of the world, like you can see it from the screen. So when you have access to this telescope, you can use it for observation. These are very sophisticated telescopes, as you can see it on the screen. So we call them robotic telescopes. So it is very important because telescopes are very expensive, and if you are a student studying astronomy in Africa, you need to know how to use. You need to know how to use telescopes for observation, at least for your research, for your undergraduate research. So we we give students access to we have access to them, so we give them access to these telescopes to observe. Either they use it for research or for astrophotography and some other things. So it's very so we use three. We use Las Camas Observatory, we use SLU, and we use a micro observatory. Use three, and they all serve different purposes. So for the outcome, when you participate in our project, you're going to develop a lot of skills, a lot of important skills. You're going to develop skills in observational astronomy. You're going to develop skills in telescope operation. You're going to develop skills in digital literacy, data acquisition, data analysis, image processing, pattern recognition, data interpretation, scientific reasoning, technical system management, scientific writing and publication, teamwork, research, collaboration, and science communication. Experience with satellite communication, like you see in ARIS, signal transmission, conference participation, and many more. So our programs also contribute to planetary defense and promote STEM education, strengthen public awareness of astronomy and space science, and encourages lifelong learning. You know what that means? Even if you're out of school, you've graduated, you're not working, but you want to still keep your brain on fire. Want to still contribute to science. You can join activities and contribute to the science, make discoveries. So this is very important. Do you know why? Because a lot of students, they love astronomy from childbirth, but there was no opportunity for them to study astronomy in their university, in their country, because probably there was no astronomy program. And they felt like they're regretting for their decision. Okay, you shouldn't regret. Okay, once you join our project, you can still contribute as much as possible in astronomy. So over the past 5 years, we have achieved a lot. We have engaged over 5,000 learners and young people across Africa, across more than 50 countries in Africa, the Middle East and Ukraine and beyond. PACS Lab now represents Africa's largest citizen science network, supporting STEM-focused groups across the continent. Over 150 citizen scientists from 28 countries have contributed to the discovery of over 100 asteroids through our international asteroid search campaign. More than 15 peer-reviewed papers have been published in international scientific journals by 300 citizen scientists as co-authors. Students and citizen scientists served as co-authors. So we have secured access to very sophisticated telescopes like the Las Camas Observatory, SLU, Micro Observatory, like I pointed out. We have forged partnerships with some of the most respected international organizations like NASA, Isaac, Aris, LCO, in fact, more than 15 of these international organizations. We have observed hundreds of exoplanets, and we have processed the data to produce light curves, and we've submitted those light curves to the American Association of Variable Star Observers, contributing to exoplanet research efforts. More than 60 students across Africa, the Middle East, and beyond have interacted with astronauts in space through our ARIS educational program. We have supported the successful participation and hosting of student-astronaut interaction by the Nigerian Space Agency. You know, the ARIS I talked about. We have supported the Nigerian Space Agency to host it on, I think, on 20th September 2025. You've supported the Ethiopia Space Science Society, your organization. I think they hosted it on 4th September 2025. Then Kenya Space Agency is going to host it this coming August. They're going to be hosting it. So look out for it. They're going to be hosting it in their office in Nairobi. Then next year in 2027, Rwanda Space Agency is going to be hosting it. We supported the application too. We also have Stellar View Technologies in Uganda. It's going to be hosting it. Then the Department of Physics, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana is going to be hosting it in 3 countries. At least 3 countries are going to be hosting it by 2027. Then hundreds of astronomical images, including galaxies, nebulae, and star clusters, have been produced through our astrophotography project and have been published in articles. Learners and citizen scientists have participated in more than 20 international conferences to present their journals or their posters, their papers and their posters. Okay, we have distributed 12 telescopes to citizen scientists in different countries in Africa, including Malawi, Morocco, Senegal, Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Gabon, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, so many, 12 countries, and we're going to distribute more. Okay, our work has been featured in multiple local, regional, and international media outlets for advancing citizen science, astronomy, education, and space science development in Africa. And by 2030, remember I told you we have already reached 5,000 people, but by 2030, we want to be counting in tens of thousands. That's our target. So here is some picture excerpts of some of our project participation across Africa. So I see the different groups that have participated in our projects from different countries in Africa. And here is a map of Africa showing the different countries we have impacted. So we have almost covered all the countries. All the countries in green, we have reached out to them. Then those countries in yellow, it's easy to reach out to them. Okay, we are still, it's not easy to get it prepared, but they're getting prepared to participate. So our work is supporting the SDG goals. 7 out of 17 of these goals. We have quality education, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, industrial innovation and infrastructure. We have reduced inequality, peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnership for the goals. You can follow our activities on social media, and you can check our website by scanning the barcode. Although we are collaborating with the ESSS already since 2020, I think it's been 4 years now. So that's all about my presentation. If you want to ask questions, you can ask me your questions.
If anyone has a question, you can ask here, or you can also ask in our Q&As at the end of the session. Thank you, Miracle, for that insightful presentation. It was truly inspiring to learn about the incredible work Pan-African Citizen Science eLab is doing across Africa. I'd like to take us back to the very beginning of your journey with a few questions about how it all started. What inspired you to start Pan-African Citizen Science eLab?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, and it goes back to when I was very young. When I was very, very, very young, I love that. Almost all of us, when we are young, we are very, very enthusiastic about astronomy, about the universe. So I had a lot of hopes that I'm going to be a very great astronomer. So I was preparing my mind to study it in the university. Okay. So all throughout my primary school, my secondary school, I tell my friends I'm going to be an astronomer. So luckily for me, we had an astronomy program in Nigeria. However, after I enrolled and graduated, although the academics is very strong, but it's mostly theory based. There's little or no experiment. By the time I graduated, I have not seen a telescope before, but everything was just theory. with a lot of mathematics, a lot of theoretical activities going on, scratch a lot of mathematics on the board. So I love it. I appreciate it, but I still felt the need of going to have the experience. I mean, the practical experience. So I also discovered that this issue that I had in my university or in my country is also common to other countries in Africa. So, so that was what I knew is a general problem in Africa and also most developing countries. So I kept that in mind. So I wanted to solve the problem, but I didn't know how to start. I didn't know how to start. Okay. So in 2020, COVID-19, okay, I graduated in 2018. Okay. Then I went for national service. So then after serving, I finished my service in 2020. So when I finished my service, I was returning from service and then there was lockdown, the COVID-19 lockdown. So I stayed indoors, everybody was indoors. So, there was social distancing, those stay indoors and work from home. So then I was exploring opportunities in astronomy. I was connecting with people in the field. So that was when I connected with people in the SLU, the Use Robotic Telescope. That was when I connected with Isaac. So I work with these two. I work with SLU and I work with Isaac. So from there I met other people in NASA exoplanets. So all of these projects that I just mentioned now were just I got to know people and then I incorporated the project into PACS Lab. So that is how it all started. And I'm very glad that I'm really solving a big problem in Africa because it has been my passion to do this. But I didn't know how to start, but now I know where it is going.
Thank you, Miracle, for answering that. I hope that question and answer will inspire many of our young scientists this year. The last question I have here would be, many of our participants are beginning their research journeys through our citizen science projects. What advice would you give them?
Okay. The advice I would give them is to this citizen science is very it's going to take you really, really far. I want you to pay attention to it when you're participating. Okay. Put your mind in it. It's not a waste of time. I carefully created them so that when students from Africa participate in this project, they can gain something that will enhance their CV. In fact, I I published a CV sample of all the activities that we do. Like if you participate in our project, it has the ability to boost your CV in case if you're looking for scholarship. So the advice I would give you is put your all into this. Put your all into this. So that's it.
Thank you, Miracle. Before we open the floor to live questions, I would like to start with a question that was submitted by one of our participants via email. Abil Mahari, who was unable to join us live, asked the following. I am a grade 10 student from Ethiopia who wants to contribute to astronomy and space science. What skills should I start building now, and which Pan-African Citizen Science eLab projects are most suitable for beginners?
Okay, what skills you need as an astronomer? You need Python skills. You need to be very versed in Python at least, know the basic level, need Python skills, and then the basic. If you come into PACS Lab, I would recommend that you join our our asteroid hunting project first. Okay, if you join it first, then once you're advanced in that, you can join our exoplanets citizen science project to advance your skills more in data analysis and contributing to exoplanet research. And then after that, proceed to our you can proceed to our astrophotography project. So that's the ladder you climb. For our double star research, I've paused it a little bit because we have a lot of paper in journal houses that are yet to be published. So we just want just slow down a little bit so that those papers can be published before we can start submitting more papers. So you start. So as an astronomer student, if you want to become an astronomer, you need to you need to have some computer like Python skills. Okay, because those are some of the important skills to look out for in your CV. Okay, then you proceed to research experience. So citizen science can add to your research experience in your CV. I mean those citizen science activities that we are promoting. Hope I've answered correctly.
Thank you, Miracle. I will make sure to share your response with Abel. Now, I would like to open the floor for questions. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask, or you can also type it in the chat. Okay, it looks like we don't have questions from our audiences. Before we conclude, what message would you like everyone here to remember after today's session?
Okay, what I would like people to remember, your students. Are you asking me?
Yes, Miracle.
Okay.
Before, yeah.
All right. So what I want you to remember is this. If you have passion for astronomy, there are a lot of things that are going to discourage you, okay? There are not a lot of, I mean, Africa is still starting. Africa is still coming up in astronomy, and there's not a lot of institutions that are going to support you. Okay, I know what it means to have passion for astronomy. I know what it means. Okay, so I want you to keep the fire burning, be a, be in the community where people like you are contributing to science. Collaborate, okay? Reach out and collaborate with people that are doing something. You can collaborate through the internet. Even PACS Lab is a good platform that you can collaborate and contribute meaningfully to astronomy. Okay, do not be discouraged. Okay, so and be hardworking. So that's all.
Miracle, thank you so much for taking the time to share your experiences with us today. We truly appreciate your willingness to engage with our community, and we hope today's discussion is one of the few steps toward expanding the collaboration between Pan-African Citizen Science eLab and Ethiopian Space Science Society.
Yeah, I appreciate. One more thing, please. Um, One more thing. I really want the Ethiopia Space Science Society to incorporate more of our project like astrophotography. I saw what was published on your page about some hands-on activities in astronomy. So, and there was no astrophotography there. I want you to include astrophotography and also the exoplanet transit analysis. Okay, I want you to get that. And also, we have been trying to reach out to the amateur radio on International Space Station because, after Ethiopia hosted it last year, I really wanted them to host it again and even some other schools in Ethiopia to host it. But it seems like it is beyond the power of Aris Group. Okay, it is a United States government decision, and I don't know why they did that because I know that Ethiopia is generally a very peaceful country. Okay, so there was no need to blacklist them among the countries that can host it. Okay, so, and I guess The reason that happened was because of the new administration. Trump came into power and a lot of things changed. So, but we continue talking, uh, you know, looking for ways your country can continue to host ARIS programs.
Thank you, Miracle. We will definitely include our astrophotography projects. We are currently including more projects to our citizen science, and that is something that is work in progress. And hopefully we will join again the ARISS program in the coming few years. I see a
Yeah.
question in the chat. Can you explain to us what the projects are like? What is astrophotography and the other projects? This question Miracle has tried to cover during his presentation. What we can do here is we don't have much time, but we can share some of the materials Miracle mentioned after the end of the session, and we can discuss on that more in our community channels on Telegram. So I will make
Okay.
sure to share with you, UL. Uh, Thank you, Miracle, again, and we will keep in mind the things you shared with us today. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found the session both informative and inspiring. We look forward to seeing you at our future events. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Take care.